people are going to be informed of the program. I want to thank all those who have reached out, and some people indicated that they saw me over the weekend at functions and so on. Yes, I'm trying to be active and to move around and so on. And see, let me tell you early. I met one lady Saturday night, and she said, you must take a picture. She wanted a picture, so we took a picture. And she said, let CC knows. It's not only ladies as meet. Ladies as meet you too. So I got to tell you that early. The lady, a regular, I'm sure she might be on the program, asked me to let CC knows that it's not only running into the ladies. Now for the roll call. First person on, and you're going to see, I'm going to tell you the timings. This is 6:57. This person come on. All these came on at 6:57. Two Guyanese, Kerry Ann, and then Morton came on at 6:58. Danny, Anthony from Petersall in the East Bank, John, Aubrey from Canada. Then we have Ezzy, Kenneth, Ulrich. All these people came on. Well, Ulrich came on at 6:59. Wayne, Claire, Melinda, Wayne, Ezla, Carlton, Mary, Barbara. All these are 6:59. Jakey, Peter, Carl. Then we have Derek, Sean, 6:59. Sean, Moses, Selwyn, and then, well, Selwyn came on. Moses and Selwyn came on at the hours. Then we have Pastor Smith, Dexter, Paulette, then Floyd, Magnell, Raul, we're gonna find you. Raul, we are going to find you with that number that you put up there, 11652. Where you got that from, Raul? Watch it. Do not impersonate. If I remember correctly, 11652 will be Richards, something like that. So watch it. Then we have Joseph, Gibbo is here, Joan, Kurt, Clarence. Then we get Siobhan, Lucia, Sian, Charlene. These are all people who came on at 7. Vibert, Orin from UK, Marcia, Clifton from Paris, Brian, 701, Paulette, Sean, Desiree from Georgia, Denise, Brenda, Mary, Charles, BX from New Jersey, 701 people, Francis Keith from Melanie, Simo from Texas, Sandra, 701, Marlon, Paulette, Pauline, Winston. Then we had from 702, Sandrine came back there, Janella, Warren, Fergus, Melbourne, Courtney. And Courtney says he is in Guyana. Hope you went there to do your civic duties. George from BV, Modita, Patricia, New Jersey, Michael, Mbaimadai, Abera, Terence from Canada, Umi, Anthony, Compton, Pinky, Neville, Selwyn, Ivor is here. Then Aral, what do I say? Yeah, Aral is there. Patricia, Terence, Tom Cat, this troublesome student, Tom Cat, Kerry, Darlene, Neola, Lynette from the UK, Jacko from Georgia, Aubrey, Dion, Colin, Benji from Myconi, Clyde, my squad mate, 9394 from the US, Brooklyn, Evelyn, Cranston, Marcus, and Joy, Diane, Vashti. Then it was Hazel, Carl, Alwyn, Elton, Pito is here with us, Paul, Pamela, Westdam, Desiree, Derek, Mark is here. He said 7855, but then he corrected himself. I'm finding out you with them wrong numbers, Then he corrected himself to say 7854, right? Typographical. Then we had Como, Smitty. Then it was Ricky Smith. Then it's Vibert. And the Vibert said, look, Vibert here said it was good to meet me on Saturday. Nice to have met you too. Daniel, Lorna, Rhonda, Paul said, let's get it on. Jacqueline, Alice, Malcolm, Hazel, Michael, Felicia, Lennox, Pauline. Then it was Bernadette, Dorrit, Gail from Georgia, or no, Gail is from Florida, sorry. Then we have Michael, David, Emerson, Mark, Marva, Carol, Diane, Gail. Then it was Marvin, Savo, Colin, Kevin, K, Henrik, Walterine, Colin, Ashley, Tallulah, Cecile, sempre is here with us. Patricia, goodbye, goodbye. Nettie is here. Nettie says, Nettie, we got to talk about that one in his name. He said with all those promoted ranks, they will be stagnated for a long time. It happened before, it's going to happen again. They're going to be stagnated for a long time. Roxanne, Sandra, Carl, then it was Clive from the UK, Dexter, Albert, Edward, Charles, Edwards. Then you have the next Vibert from East Bank, Kyle, Denise, the secretary was here, Marcus, Anka, Salima, Rastaman, Mahadio is here, Dwayne, Ether is here with us, Donald, Leon, Rhonda, then I'm still in the house, Yonette, Doreen from Canada, Cecile, Michael, then it was Megan, Sandra, Sabrina, Annette, Siobhan, Boo, Karen, Wayne, Donna, Earl, Monica, Reggie, George, Mason, Aidsworth, K, 12505, Mason, sir. Blackman 62 is here with us. Then it was Fred, then Claude, Delon, Lorraine, Carlisle. Carlisle says that he really wants to see a real Guyana before it's passing. All we desire that. And very soon, in 2 weeks' time, we're going to get an opportunity to contribute to that process of seeing a real Guyana. Lorraine, Lester, Denise, Lyndon, Carville, Colin, Cedric, Danny 8219. Then it is Allison, Paulette, this is who? Selfriend, seems to be a new student. Junior, Barbara, Annette, another Annette is here. John, Sherwin, Connolly, Patrick, 12128, Rodney from the UK. Gwyneth, Doris is here. Then we have Hope, Bray, Annette. Welcome, Annette, former member of Parliament. Joseph, Trevor, Cloyd, David. Then it was Christy, Sidman, Shadow Legion. This is the new student that is seen for the first time on the thing. Michelle, and then Shadow came back to say it's a pleasure listening to this program. It's a pleasure having you as a student, Shadow. Rosalind is here. Lyndon, the man Brad, Beverly. This is Isaac Carr. This is a new student too, Isaac Carr Dickey. Storm, Angela, Gloria, Shamlin, Mark. Then it was Glendon. Good to see you back in class. 0540 Wilson, man from Untag, Namibia. And in case you don't know what that means, he was a member of the United Nations, of the Guyana contingent in the United Nations, which was led by yours truly, to the peacekeeping there, 1989-1990. UNTAG, United Nations Transition Assistance Group. I and 29 other policemen were there for almost a year. Belan, then you have Marlon, and then Marlon was the last man in the schoolyard, and then Edward came back, and he's there. Simone, Lennox, these are all Abu, Essequibo Coast, Amit. Then we have Marvin, and a lot of people here, a lot of students. So we're going to make the announcements, and having made the announcements, then we are going to get on with it. We're going to get on. Well, we're up to just under 1,000, and we're building up. Now for the announcements, we say we start with the sad announcements first. And there are so many sad announcements today. So many sad. We had, over the weekend, the death of woman police sergeant 20451 Harris. She was stationed at the police immigration department. Another police died suddenly. Somebody I see commented, it was just a few, hours before the person said that they were in communication and she died. I don't know what the circumstances are. Again, we tell to people, go and check your health. Go and have your checkup. Young police sergeant passed away. Something wrong, man. These people want blue water. They cross. Yard Rose died suddenly. The same immigration department, I think it was McGarrell, about a month or two ago, suddenly died. Now you get this female sergeant died again. Right? So then we had you remember we talked about the pedestrian who was hit by the truck. I think man married 2 weeks after he married, struck and killed on the road. Right? 2 weeks after he married. And then, oh Lord, this Linden, I think it was Saturday, 3 persons died when a car ran into the back of a parked truck. We're going to talk about that a little. Truck parked, probably after the breakdown or whatever, parked, excuse me, I get a quote. Yeah, sorry about that. A cold morning, me, man. You can hear it in my voice. And I have to think, I have to sneeze there. Right? So, yes, the truck, we don't know if it broke down on the highway. We don't know if it was parked there. But I said poor visibility, car driving, ran into the back of that vehicle. I saw the video circulating on social media. Sad. Sad. They saw the one man there, the driver. He was seriously injured, we understand. Then we hope that he survives. The other 3 people in the car, including a 7-year-old, died on the spot. On the spot. And then when you think that was enough, we're hearing that yesterday, I think it was Rupununi Trail. A father, a mother, a whole family wiped out. They were riding some motorcycle, they say, and whatever happened, all 3 are dead. All 3 are dead on the Linden. Well, you know, they're going to tell you that it's not a road. It's not a road. They're going to tell you that it's an incident, that it's not an accident. And then another one, pedestrian, Rupert Craig Highway by the Russian embassy, struck and killed. Struck and killed. And then when you thought that was enough, last night, they're reporting last night that at Rising Sun, where they had this, the guy in a cup horse racing, a 19-year-old jockey. Let me tell you all what they say. Before I'm going to bring it, let me run through, then we're going to come back to that. 19-year-old jockey fell off the horse and was killed. And again, it has been reported this morning that there was an accident about a week or so ago involving a diplomatic vehicle. They say it's a Russian diplomatic vehicle. The woman succumbed. The victim succumbed at the hospital. That is what you have. Sad. We're going to come back to that in a short while. But for some happier announcements, we don't have any birthday today to announce, but we have recent birthdays. Yesterday, retired detective, senior superintendent, Philip Azor. What's up, Philip? Philip Armstrong. I said Azor. Azor, you're retired. Philip Armstrong celebrated a birthday yesterday. Also celebrating a birthday yesterday is a very good friend of mine. I used to teach you bad. A retired woman sergeant, traffic sergeant, Alexis Webster. Webster, one of the people who used to really tease around the place. She had a birthday yesterday, and I understand coming up shortly is a former member, Victorine DeFerman. She's going to be celebrating shortly. I want to go back to say condolences to all the relatives and friends of those persons who have passed, and to the persons who are celebrating birthdays today, who celebrated recently, and who are celebrating in the near future. All the best to you on your natal day. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. CC, welcome. Hope you had a wonderful weekend, notwithstanding all the tragedies that we are talking about. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I had a good, nice, quiet weekend. And I'm so happy, praise the Lord, that we are all in the land of the living to do God's work. My deepest sympathy, join with you and the relatives, the friends, the loved ones of those who passed away, including Sergeant Harris, and you were well. And detective officer, and he was at top of the line. Them traffic men used to frighten for send files to him, because in the fatal accidents, we used to make sure that the detective officer plays a role in terms of fatal accidents, because you have to caution people, you have to do proper investigation. And then we used to want to send file to him, they send the file to me, the commando. And I would smile and I minuted, DDO, your comments, please. So I gone right back to Armstrong, and he used to write more than the DPP. So he was an excellent detective officer, and I want to congratulate him for crossing another milestone. I want to wish him health, strength, happiness. And I remember, he was my DDO when I was in West Demerara. I remember a Christmas Eve day we drinking, and he said like you get less than 3 years to go. He was an ASP, and he said, man, like he gonna retire as an ASP. I said, bye, don't bother, things gonna happen. And the old years day promotion, he moved from assistant superintendent to a superintendent. And July the next year, he got senior soup. And then he went to Borbis, and I followed in at Borbis, and he retired after me, under me. So he was excellent. Then you have people like Charles Allen, excellent detective. He used to climb the mountains, he used to walk the savannas, he used to paddle across the rivers and everything to do an investigation. And we had people like Cosbert during the trial times, and people like and several other detectives, So I want to wish all of them well. And let me shout out to a couple of people, This morning I went to Festival City, the health clinic there. I've been and do some blood work. And I say, you gotta check. If you don't check, sorry for you. And the place was packed, a whole lot of people there, But the staff, they were very courteous and they walk fast. And a woman come to me. She recognized me by the back. She said, Grace, one of our students. She's 80 years old. And we had a wonderful conversation. Paul, she said to tell you hello. And also she made a contribution to our program. I wish to thank her. And then on Saturday, another student, a beautiful woman, met me in KFC, and we also had some nice discussion. And also, I want to shout out to retired Inspector Smith from Lamar Park. Congratulations to all those who celebrated Board Day recently and Board Days to come. May God continue to bless all of us.
Yeah, thank you. One of the students telling me that Webster Board is actually sometime in May, but I guess they have a wrong. Facebook told me that the board is today, so that's why that is what was going on. Right, that was going. Yeah, Peter. Back in the day, you had so many good detective officers. Peter was telling us about some other like Kenneth Baran, and you have a lot of people. So I'm not gonna. I have had the privilege of working with some excellent detective officers as a commander, as a young commander, people who would guide you, not because you're in command, you know everything. Walters, Ivan Walters, and those people who would guide you. Same Philip Armstrong. When I became a commander, West Demerara, those guys would come and talk to you, and you listen, and you make a decision. It's not because you're in charge, you know everything, right? So I had the privilege of working with excellent detective officers, like Louis Crawford, for example, right? Philbert Adams, and all of those people, excellent officers. They could sit down there and know that if a matter is to be investigated, it will be properly investigated. And when the file passes through them and the file gets to you, the commander, you know that it was thoroughly reviewed. Now what we get going on now? Now what you got going on now? You got a police detective division office in a place like Georgetown having to pick out a piece of paper to read a caution before charge to the former mayor. What type of detective are you talking about? What type of detective who don't know the caution before charge out of his head? I learned that 50-something years ago, and I still know it, right? Still know it. I don't have to report to no paper. Right, but the thing, as I've said, the Linden Suicide Highway is a dangerous place. It's becoming even more dangerous. Broken down vehicles, there have been so many fatal accidents on that highway involving broken down trucks where they park, no reflector, no light, no warning. Somebody driving, especially it can be foggy, visibility can be reduced at times, death. And you know the sad thing about that, let me say this, the sad thing about that. Back when I was leading the reform, we had the Scottish police people came down here, and one of them looked into the traffic situation. It was under operations traffic, right? I think the gentleman who was in charge of that team, in case they want to fact check me, I think he named David Garbott from Scotland. He and two others came. And that's one of the things they have put together. I get that document somewhere about the highways and those places where you should have dedicated patrols, to police patrols, to check on broken down vehicles, and they have to be equipped with certain things, warning signs, and that we can put at certain distance. Those things were there, and what happened? Nothing. Nothing. So you still have a situation where vehicles are breaking down on the highway and causing people to die. And I agree with the Peter or someone who said that you should get law. That should be criminal for you to leave a broken down vehicle right there like that without putting warning signs and so on. That should be made a criminal offense because you're endangering the lives of people. Yeah, the vehicle breakdown, you might have no control over that, but you have a responsibility to ensure that signs are put. And what happened to the police patrols? They're not patrolling the highways and these places to see that these things are potential danger. They're doing that. And then you talk about recently, they got some committee and they're going to meet. I think the former British High Commissioner, they're supposed to come with plans. These are some of the things that can be done immediately. Immediately. Police vehicles passing and so on, they see them thing, put up proper reflective signs. All trucks, as part of the fitness process, should have highly reflective signs. So that when they're traveling in the night, whether they break down or not, they can be seen from a distance. They should be lit up like a Christmas tree. All trucks. Other large vehicles as well. Well, you don't have that. As I've said, the plans are there. I'm sure if I go into my archives, I will find a copy of that plan prepared by the Scottish. That was way back in 2005 or 2006, sometime around then. And they ain't doing nothing. Well, yeah, the towaway part, because you got to tow away, but you got to get proper vehicle to tow them away, because those are massive trucks, and many times they are laden with logs and all that. So not easy to be towed away. But as a first step, you have to put up signs and things to caution sign, reflective sign, that danger ahead. But they don't do that. They don't do that. And then you hear they're going to come, the traffic chief, and then people going to come and tell you something just now. Either the people were careless and they were speeding, and all sorts of crap you're going to hear, where they are not addressing some basic stuff. All broken down vehicles, especially trucks along the Linden Highway and those places, should be mandated that they have to have proper reflective warning signs. You break down, as somebody said, hey, a truck is broken down on the highway, you have so many feet, you have to put up warning signs to caution people. Right? You have to do that. And I'd say it again, it should be made criminal. It should be a criminal offense for you to have a truck broken down and not put up adequate warning to other road users that there's a danger ahead. Condolences again to those persons. And then on the Linden and the Lethem Trail, man, his wife and his child, gone. Gone. I'm not sure about the circumstances of that. Gone. Let me bring in Mr. Conway for his comments on this Linden Suicide Highway and these broken down trucks. It is happening so often, CC, and they make no measures to address it. What are your views?
So true, I traveled a couple of weeks ago by night there, and it was terrible with the trucks. And as you mentioned, broken down, no lights. Sometimes when you really reach up to them, then you see them, and they're not taking a holistic approach towards traffic. Recently, I read an article, editorial from the Starbuck News, and they really put it aptly. And let me read part of it. Here we say, one good thing is that there are more police traffic officers on the roads, either on motorcycles or foot. The bad thing about their presence is that they seem to be in their own world, doing their own business, which is not necessarily the business that they were put on the road to address. That is to keep a sharp eye on for traffic violators, either through speeding, pranks, or what or or what put others on the road or putting others on the road in danger. And here they concluded, the more rules there are, the more there are deaths, injuries, and abuses. So what the traffic people doing, and I could use the word of the traffic chief, what they're doing is senseless. They don't have a holistic approach to a thing. Their interaction or their response to what's going on the road is basically senseless. And there's a word of the traffic chief that he used recently, senseless.
Yeah, but you know, even and again, response to this traffic thing, about a year or two ago, you had a whole set of deaths. Dennis Stevens was the traffic chief. Well, they blame me for all the deaths. They removed him, they bring the new trap, this man here, Mahendra Singh. And like the situation get worse. What a movie. Remember the commissioner of police call all the traffic ranks, the heads of the traffic department. He had all of them removed, transfer them, because he wasn't satisfied with the traffic situation. He then instructed a lot of foolish instruction that junior rank must stop vehicle. Vehicle must only stop if KK close people around, meaning officers or inspectors. And then he said they must line the roads. Policemen must line the roads to prevent accident and speeding. How nonsensical, how senseless to come back to that word. But they don't have a clue. And people are dying. People are dying on the roads. And these things are preventable. I mean, Joel, you say, yeah, you should get layaway for people to trucks to pull over. But yeah, that's under normal circumstances. But if a vehicle has broken down, you can break down any part of the road. But so therefore, it should be mandated that they have to put up adequate signs at specified distances to warn people of the danger ahead. Car vehicle breakdown on the highway sometimes can be very foggy, misty, right? It can be raining. You can have all other conditions that reduce visibility. And they need to make sure that they do this. So this committee that they have there with the National Road Safety Chairman or Lambert and they said the former British High Commissioner Greg Quinn, and I hope they're gonna do something and don't wait for no couple months down the road to make recommendations. There are some things that can be done immediately, and those things should be done immediately, right? And then you have this one here too, right? Well, the one at Rupert Creek, something the man coming across the road, something pick you up, is death. And let me make this point too, because I've always said that if you're going to address the carnage on the road, you have to look at all categories of road users, every single one. So while we might be focusing on truck, we might be focusing on minibus, look at private car, look at car, look at motorcyclists, look at pedestrians, look at pedestrian, look at animal-drawn vehicles, look at all things. Animals on the road. Only last week here, some pig run across the road and the quarantine man dead. Right? The man dead. Drive around the place, you see people dump builders' waste, old truckload of sand and stone in the old driving lane. Those things are wrong. Those things can be addressed immediately. Should be addressed immediately. People get the animals graze, roaming the road. And what happens? Nothing happens. And you come in to sit down. You want to tell me you're going to get big committee and so on to address that? The people, the traffic people who are moving around, they have not seen that as a danger. The commanders and all those people, and therefore bring it to the attention, discuss it, and put systems in place to address it. But that is where we are. And then this one here yesterday, Rising Sun, in case you all know, Rising Sun, West Coast Bobbies there, Conway area. They had a big race. They call it the Guyana Cup. Right? And here what it says here, it's a short article. 19-year-old jockey, Kishwan Pereira, lost his life tragically on Sunday evening, that's yesterday evening, at the Guyana Cup horse race meet in Borbies when he fell from his horse during a race and was trampled. The riderless horse later crossed the finish line as medical team rushed to assist the young man, who was rushed by ambulance to a nearby hospital but was pronounced dead. It was suspected that the young man suffered multiple injuries when he fell and was later trampled on the track. Horse race lovers were already complaining about the conditions of the track and the poor lights when the tragedy took place. The race was taking place after 6 p.m. with very poor lighting on the track that was already left muddy by the day's heavy rains. It is believed that the horse might have tripped while traversing the track at top speed, pitching the young man to his death. There's a full investigation. First of all, is there an age limit? I'm asking. 19-year-old jockey. What qualifies one to be a jockey? I don't know. What qualifies one? And I can tell you from previous events, it's a dangerous thing. I have seen where spectators and all them running onto the track, horse coming at full speed, and the jackasses running onto the track. A dangerous, dangerous thing. So this young man, 19-year-old, who is a jockey, lost his life. And then Pilori Joe, the man from Labour, I think they should be looking into all these things, occupational health and safety. Pilori Joe can come with some nonsense. You know Joe Hamilton, the minister there, Pilori Joe, who talking us other crap that is put to talk about, right? That is what you have. 19-year-old lost his life. So again, I ask the question, and I hope that people will ask, the journalists will have these things. How is it? What is the age? 18? 19? I don't know. Maybe it's the age. What qualifies someone to be a jockey? What qualifies someone to be a jockey? And then they're telling you now, what about the safety arrangement? Because they are saying here in this article that I just read, that the place was dark after 6 o'clock. And they had heavy rains during the day, so the track was a little muddy and so on. So nobody are looking at safety. Who looks at safety in these things? Who? I don't know. Who looking at the safety? So all of these things they should examine, not just investigate, because they said in the last of the article, a full investigation has been launched. I hope the investigation is not only dealing to the actual accident, but the whole aspect, permission for the race, what were the conditions and all them, everything should be looked at. Because if they don't, things like this can repeat itself. Let me bring in CC. Because this Rising Sun, you can know the area, go to some East area, West Coast, Bobbies. Yes, CC, man died at Rising Sun.
Well, I know Rising Sun well, you know. I grew up in the area, I know, right? But years now I stopped going to those artist meetings because in terms of security, in terms of safety, it's actually nil. They don't look at safety. They're looking for the almighty dollar. Yes, I've seen, and you mentioned it, race going on and the home stretch, and persons are running across the thing, running across it. There's no safety measures there. Security, it ain't there. I stopped going. What, for the couple dollars that they want, they drop all the safety measures. Perhaps Polari Joe might be right, when maybe if RV had gone there, you'd have seen a day that nobody won't leave there in a box, and nobody won't leave there in a box. They need to look at safety measures, occupational health and safety, particularly at those horse racing meetings. Rising Sun. They are the chief sinners. They are the chief sinners when it comes to horse racing, because the events are big and certain people are sponsoring the event. Big money, but very little safety.
Big money, little safety. Once the money involved, they are concerned about safety. They don't concern about safety, right? They're concerned about that. And let me say this as we go on. We got to remind them of this. About a month ago, a serious allegation surfaced against a police officer that he raped a young girl. Serious allegation. He raped a young girl. The man was promoted during this bribery promotion, and I understand that he was told to keep a low profile. So apparently no investigation is going to be done. Allegation of rape. Rape is teenage daughter's friend. That is what the allegation is. So it was circulating on social media. They haven't come out with a statement. They haven't told us that this matter is being investigated. They then do like Nosef and say, well, it's fake. They then do like the Barat and say that how it is a rumor. You hear nothing more about that. How people are going to get faith and trust in this guy in the police force? How? You tell me how. They're covering up these things. And talking about cover up, let me read this one. Well, before I go to that, let me warn people in the Eastern Caribbean, I think, and on the east coast of the U.S., Hurricane Erin. I read yesterday this hurricane strengthened so quickly to a Category 5. And then it went down, and they said now apparently it is Category 3 or 4. And the east coast of the U.S. is likely to be affected by high tides and so on. Folks, be careful. Be extremely careful with them riptide and them high tide and so on. Erin is out in the Atlantic someplace, kicking up a storm. Literally kicking up a storm. Be careful. Be extremely careful. Now, when we talk about confidence in the police or lack thereof, this disturbing post on social media over the weekend. And look, these things are done to highlight these incidents and to ensure that, to hope that corrective measures will be taken. That is a hope, corrective measures will be taken. There are too many allegations of improper conduct, criminal conduct made against policemen, far too many. And then the response, OPR will investigate. And you don't hear anything more. So over the weekend it surfaced. Let me read what it says here. A recently promoted inspector and 4 subordinate ranks are expected to be charged soon with robbery under arms. This is HGP Nightly News. A Chinese national reported that he went from winning big at a Church Street casino to being the victim of robbery in a matter of seconds at the hands of the police ranks. As usual, the police have opted to remain silent on the robbery. I don't think they have issued any release yet. Nightly News understands that the victim last Tuesday was leaving the casino when he was stopped by an anti-terrorism patrol. The inspector demanded that he search the bag of the victim. Upon noticing the cash, the officers took away more than $5 million and drove off. The victim claimed that he even offered the officers $1.5 million to leave him alone, but they refused. The victim then made a police report. The officers were then placed under close arrest at the Tactical Services Unit. Reportedly, officers from the Police Office of Professional Responsibility have been called in to investigate the crime and have obtained a confession statement after reviewing CCTV footage. My Lord, every day is something. Every day is something. But this matter raises some issues because according to what has been reported, this man had some big winning at the casino in Church Street. When he came out, they said when he came out, he was leaving the casino when he was stopped by the anti-crime patrol. Right away, red flag, police, red flag. It seems as though he was specifically targeted. So if he was specifically targeted, how come the police on this anti-terrorism patrol knew that this man had money? It didn't look to me random. It didn't look like a random. It looked to me that this might have been a setup arrangement where somebody might have indicated to them that, look, I'm coming out with enough money. That is how it appears. And I would hope that this investigation, what is going to be done by OPR, would look into that. I understand, however, that one of the demand that says some newly promoted inspector, I understand from my sources that might not have been the person. That might not have been the person who was in charge of this arrangement. But it is worrying. Policemen, look, not so long ago, and up to now they remain silent. right in police headquarters, at the back of police headquarters, the bank GBTI there. Man got to deposit $10 million. He was robbed by men in police uniform. Let me repeat that. He was robbed by men in police uniform. We are saying this police. Men in police uniform. He was robbed. Police, right at police headquarters. And then we didn't hear much about that. We didn't hear much about that. We heard from the police, West Demerara, some police sergeant was said to be the ringleader in some break and enter, a gang that broke into people's homes. When they arrest some suspect, they found messages, text messages and so on the thief men phone, linking them to this police sergeant. We hear not more about that. We hear not more about that. We get a case. You remember the one where the police killed the man and then he killed himself, right? Kill the man and kill himself. We didn't hear how come this police who was being investigated was allowed to leave. See idea wherever he been to go and say he ingest pies. You didn't hear that done. That done. They have a report of which they have been silent over the past week, where it is alleged that a police from New Amsterdam is under close arrest for attempting to smuggle a firearm into the New Amsterdam prison. You hear that now? And coming to this thing, OPR can investigate. OPR, wonder why, I would love to know what is the strength of the Office of Professional Responsibility. Because every single matter, the death at Linden of Key, unfortunately, they said OPR investigated. CID, crime chief, said they ain't got nothing to do with the investigation. You have so many other. You got a cocaine from police headquarters that turned to flour. OPR investigated. You hearing anything about that? You got guns disappearing from Alberton police station and other places. You ain't hearing nothing. Too many allegations. And it would appear as though these things are swept under the carpet. So people it is good for them to continue doing what they're doing. We ain't hearing nothing about this one here, apart from the initial report, that the people robbed the $5 million anti-crime, anti-terrorism patrol. That's what they say. Now, let me put on me tactical act. Because you know, I came up, I grew up at the TSU for 19 years. I walked my way from constable to superintendent. Then I went out to divisions and so on. So I put on the TSU act. This anti-terrorism patrol that they're talking about, what type of training they have? How are they equipped? What type of training they have? How are they equipped? The president, the commissioner, and all them told us not so long ago, policemen have been given, they have 5,000 body cameras. That is what they told the nation. 5,000 body cameras. Wait, these men did not have on body cameras for us to now see what really transpired? Huh? You see how these things just come back. I tell you, it's a lot of talk they have to try to hoodwink people. They told us 5,000 body camera. It means that almost every police, well, I mean, almost every policeman on active duty should be able to get a body camera, because I'm sure they ain't got no 5,000 police on active duty at any one time in Guyana. I'm sure about that. So everyone should be able to get a body camera. How come allegations of robberies are being made? They said they're reviewing CCTV. What about reviewing the images from the body cameras that they were supposed to have on? How about that? Ask the president, I guess, because he's the man who made the announcement about the body cameras. He is the one who did so. So they may be going to ask. Don't ask Akin this quarter. Because I would think that if you really want to put body cameras to stop corruption and so on, the commissioner got to wear one. Because remember, $8.5 million by this Ahmad guy. $8.5 million. He said, that is not an allegation. The commissioner said in a statement, there is more like a confession, that he accepted $8.5 million from Amir Ahmad to finance Buta's wedding. He said so. That is not an allegation. That is a confession. That is a crime. Misconduct in public office that the DPP and them does recommend so willy-nilly about the police. Well, he's still there. As a matter of fact, they promoted him after that. They promoted him after that allegation. That is what you have. So So before I bring in Mr. Conway, when you hear about these robberies and so on, police run, old people say, monkey see, monkey do. Monkey see, monkey do. That's what the old people said. Yes, Toro, I agree. 8.5 million is chump change because you don't want to talk about you owe them children of 40 million and the man load a man 40 million and 60 something million. But you all a million. So $8.5 million is nothing to them. But to man like me and you, and I hope you, Toro, this is big money. Big money. Man, give it as a donation to a wedding man. And the man basically bought immunity because he has done so much after then. And nothing will happen to you. The man get permission to do whatever he wants to do. Let me bring in CC, man. Bring in CC. CC, your take on this alleged robbery and all of that, man.
Well, it's a anti-terrorism patrol. What a name. What a name. Used to get anti-crime, now it's anti-terrorism. And it look as though the police are the terrorists. I agree with you. Perhaps they had good intelligence that these Chinese people win a big bet. I only win, and they're going to move with the cash. So they turn up. I understand part of the mandate of this anti-terrorism patrol is that when they send you out there to patrol, you got to come back and let something. You got to give something or you can't go up on the patrol at all. Remember when a certain rank was in charge of TSU? Anti-crime patrol. The anti-crime patrol had to bring something or you can't go up on the patrol. And then the thing was mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. That they gotta go and bring back and put something in there. And then again, I heard one of them, a driver, he working at one department during the course of the day, and at the night he driving anti-terrorism patrol. Let me repeat, working at one department at police headquarters during the course of the day, and in the night he driving anti-terrorism patrol. Very lucrative. That the man goes sacrificing night rest just to drive. Just to drive, you know. I know they've seen this thing, but they need to review the whole thing. And why name it anti-terrorism patrol? I wonder why. But they have to look at that patrol because the patrol get instructions there when you go out, you have to bring back something. Or if you don't bring back, you can't go on next patrol. And it's saying that at least one rank working one place during the day, another department, and driving during the night. It got to be lucrative for him to be sacrificing his night sleep to drive anti-terrorism vehicle. The whole thing is, you know, it's all ridiculous. And as you mentioned, Paul, what happened with body cameras? They not wear body cameras, or they tell them off. What happened with the body cameras? God help the guy in the police force. Please, God, help the guy in the police force.
Yeah, we need divine intervention. At this stage, I think we need divine intervention. You know, some people are asking here about SOPs to the body camera. We made the point on this program that if you're going to we talk about the taser, you're going to introduce body camera, you have to sit down and craft a proper standard operational procedure. You have to do that. The ranks have to be made aware of what those processes are, how they are charged, how the images are stored, and all of these things, right? When they should be turned off, when they should turn, and you have to put it in an order, as we say, a standing order. You got to be publishing force orders. So if a person fails to comply, then there's an act, the 4Y, under 1701. Fail to comply with an order issued by the Commissioner of Police. You got to make sure it's in a standing order. And once it's in the standing order, then it has to be taught to every single one. Everybody know what is the standard operational procedure for the use of body cameras and taser. And therefore, if you fail to comply, you have broken the Police Discipline Act, you're in violation of the act, and you can be charged but they just come up and they don't do these things. And then so what? Again, the question, you talk about body camera. Now you're making allegations, or people have made allegations against the police. Where is the image on the body camera? And I said this to all the honest police, because there are many, many hardworking, honest policemen there. Despite what people say, I know, because I know many of them. Hardworking, they don't take bribe, they do their work very diligently, right? I am saying to those that you should ensure, because it has proven over the years that this thing like body camera that save a lot of innocent policemen. So when people come and tell lie on you, right, you have the stored image to review and to absolve you from blame. But so if you are honest and you're going about your duty, why do you not want to have body cameras on and make sure that it's running all the time? But again, to tell us about 5,000 body cameras and then you get incidents of this nature and there's no image. At least they haven't indicated that. I ain't release. So perhaps I give him more liberty to say there's no image, right? Because one would have expected that body cameras for all the 5 ranks, they say, would have been reviewed. Would have been reviewed. But OPR, and let me say something. The man who is in charge of OPR, I knew him as a fairly good detective officer. But he is one who has become so incompetent. And I said, Beard, I hope you listen and people tell you, I had a lot of respect for you as a policeman. You had your little issues and so on. I had a lot of respect. When you go in a witness box, and you said in the Bascom case that you cautioned him over the telephone, I lost all respect that I had for you. You given evidence in a matter, and you told the court that you cautioned the defendant over the telephone. And I know that you know better. But what? You just feel that you got to flow with the tide, send your soul, destroy your credibility, because everybody knows nonsense that. And Mr. Baird, I have to say it, when you made that statement, I lost all respect that I had for you. All. Because again, you know that ain't so. That can be so. You can't caution a man over the phone. Because, as some people said then, if you caution him over the phone, maybe you arrested him over the phone as well. Because if a person is a defendant, shortly after caution and so on, you have to go to the next step for arrest. So if you caution him over the phone, you must have arrested him over the phone as well. I hope that you would reflect on that type of mistake and that you may have corrected it along the way. I hope that you would have corrected. You can't be credible and telling people them type of things in there, right? You can't be. And again, I say every single incident, all we're hearing is that OPR investigating, OPR investigating. And then from OPR investigating, you don't hear anything further. And I know from experience, personal experience, that many of those matters when OPR investigate, they would send it for legal advice. DPP is going to advise, in some cases, criminal charges, in some cases, departmental action. I know that in many cases, when departmental action is advised, nothing happens. Nothing happens. You all challenge me. Nothing happens. And that is a problem that we have. That is a problem that we have. Now let me move on. Again, over the weekend, I'm going to play you all 2 short videos. And at the end of the video, and I'm bringing it to tell you the disrespect. I'm showing you the disrespect people have for the police. Disrespect people have for the police, especially if you're aligned to the PPP. You can do and you can say anything to the police. Remember Larimer from Linden, sentenced to 9 months in prison. Up to now, you see what the prison place look like. Police arrested him 2 weeks after the warrant, about 2 weeks after the committal warrant was issued. On his way to the prison, they get instruction to carry back to Linden. After he got back to Mackenzie, he played sick. He go in the hospital, eventually discharged. The man, they're parading around the place. That's on social media. People claim every day it is alleged, making all sort of statement. A man who should be in the prison. Because even if they say that they appeal the sentence, there's a process. The process should have been gone through. Police should have taken him to the Lusitania prison as commanded by the warrant. And then prison officers or the prison authorities will deal with any other story, whether it's appeal or whatever they want to deal with. So this one, let me show you all this one, man. Then we're going to talk about it at the end. We're going to talk about it. Let me show you the two short tapes. Two short tapes. This one, first one here. Look, here we go.
You drinking at work. You hide a black label bottle and you there. Look the black label bottle there right there. Look the black label bottle. I'm a journalist. You drinking at work. I thought you drinking at work. What nonsense you telling me? I thought you drinking at work. You tell me foolishness. I gotta call in inquiries.
I would have asked you what is your issue.
I told you I was in a traffic accident. That is what I told you. Don't raise your voice at me. You raise your voice at me. Don't raise your voice at me. Don't raise your voice at me. What?
Please watch your conduct at the station.
You look at your conduct at the station.
Yes.
You drinking black label. No, touch me. Touch me. You touch me. You drinking black label. Don't be black label there. Sir, this man just, I want to make it clear, this man just assault me. This man just assault me. Constable Anderson, do you see this man just touch me? Hey. Constable Anderson, did you see this man just touch me? You are drinking black label at the station. I already, look at there. Look at there. You drinking black, look at the stuff on your desk. You drinking black label at the station. All right. We gonna find out what's me find. You're gonna learn.
All right, there's tape one. Look at tape two.
At this time I'm warning you not supposed to be drinking in the station. That's what I'm warning you. You're on duty and you're drunk.
That's your place, right?
You understand? You hit me first. Do not touch me.
I'm warning you about your behavior at the station, sir.
I'm warning you about your behavior. You're drinking on duty. At this time I'm warning you. I want to get the citizens arrested. Do not touch me. Do not touch me. Do not touch me. Do not touch me. Hey, you free boy. Hey, you free.
Hey, I'm a thing. Sergeant.
Hey, don't look me.
Folks, you're sorry there. You're sorry there. Before I make any comment, let me invite CC. Let CC open the bowling or the button at the end this one, man. CC, let me hear you analyzing what we saw there.
Before though, let me just rush back quickly to OPR. Understand the head there is on leave, and the junior man, I think is an inspector of police or inspector, is in charge and doing the investigation. Imagine a place like OPR where an inspector is singing. Now going back to this, what happened at Providence police station. I remember previously, a man went in there, run over from the gas station, some people, and they actually take over the station, fire off rounds, and when police had to scatter. Here again, Providence police station, a man who's politically aligned. Maybe that's why they treat him so. Maybe that's why they treated him so. Look at what happened. Listen to the behavior and watch the tape there. I'm surprised I didn't hear taser, taser, taser. Police can't control people. Police don't do, I said they don't do self-defense. They don't do anger management. They don't know how to control situation. But listen to the ridiculous behavior of this PPP activists. And so far, nothing. We didn't hear anything about it. I saw something where he apologized for his behavior. He apologized for his behavior, but for me, he should feel the full brunt of the court. He should go to court, full brunt of the law. Go to court and like plead guilty and apologize, and you have a record with him. And saying an apology doesn't mean anything. Apology reminds me about cricket, you know. I think in February 1981, they had a one-day match between New Zealand and Australia at Melbourne. Ian Chappell was the captain. And coming down to the bottom, New Zealand had wanted 6 runs to tie the match. And Trevor Chappell, Ian brother, was bowling the last ball. And he tell his brother, go and bowl it underhand. And he bowl it underhand. And the New Zealand batsman play defensively and then throw his bat after then, you know. All they had wanted was 6 runs, and Chappell tell everybody, go underhand. It caused a big story. I think even the two prime minister exchange harsh words, and Chappell apologized. He's saying that he was drained mentally and physically. He played a match, he's made 90 runs, and he bowled 10 overs, and he was drained mentally. But the record would show that Australia gone 1 up. So no apology can't take away the thing from him. And this one who understand apologize, put him before the court. Like you gonna apologize before the court. Look at his behavior. And to me, like, police can only fight on the road. They can't fight in their own domain. They can't fight in their own place. Yeah? Them can't control a man. Them can't de-escalate this situation. And making an apology doesn't mean anything. My thing is, put him before the court. Let him go and answer for the magistrate, and let it tell him magistrate that he think. But the fact is, he don't display how he have to misbehave. He don't show his attitude and his unprofessional. Well, he professional and his behavior there. But you're not hearing anything from the police. You're not hearing anything from the police. He should have been in handcuff, like how they handcuff other people and carry them in front of the court. That is how it should be. But then nothing would happen because he's a PPP activist, and he apologized, an apology, and the story done there.
Well, thanks to that, CC. Let me do me analysis now. Right? You open the button, I come in at one first down. They said number 3 position in the team is perhaps one of the most important positions. So I coming in at number 3. First of all, it would appear, according to this, the name of this man is Cordell Jones. He claims to be a journalist with Livewire or something like that. He's a propagandist. No journalist, propagandist, pushing out the PPP propaganda. He is one of those who drank the stuff. Right? All right. He claims that he may have had an accident. He went into the police station. We didn't see what happened before. He now alleging that, well, the first thing I observed is the dress of this man. Carter said the sergeant. I don't know he's a sergeant. I don't know him personally. I saw him there. The sergeant with Ali Pale and Stave missing, I saw that there, his dress. So that's the first thing as a senior police officer I would look at. Because if it is that he was on duty, why was he not in uniform? First thing. All right. Switch to Jones now. Jones claimed that he saw him drinking. But there's no evidence that he was drinking. We saw Canada Dry ginger ale on the thing, and they saw a bottle, looked like a Johnny Walker, a Black Label water under the thing. That is not evidence that he was drinking. That is not evidence you can't demand drinking. Right? Some people say he appeared drunk and all that. All right. He started to behave. That is this man Jones. Started to behave disorderly. That is disorderly behavior in a police station. I think there's a special charge for that. Disorderly behavior in a police station. Right? What happened? The police didn't get buttoned any longer? Because according to Love in There, you know, y'all know the song Love in There. I know Dudley can say, I know Jamaican song. Babylon Boops. Babylon Boops. The man say, I have a button hard like Rockstone. I want to introduce it to your jawbone. I ain't preaching violence, but I'm saying that they would have been justified to use force to subdue that man, behaving disorderly. And then he get into the police station telling he can make a citizen's arrest. What jackassery is that? That's me word. Jackassery. What nonsenseness is that? You in a police station tell you making a citizen's arrest? All them because they feel powerful. But I'm disappointed that the police did not subdue him, and somebody asking the question too about Taser. Well, I didn't get Taser. But even I got Taser, let me go back to the old time method, man. Button. Button. He should have been visiting the hospital shortly thereafter. And again, I ain't preaching violence, but I'm saying that for man to go into the police station and behave in that manner, you would have had justification to use force to subdue him. You would have had justification to use force to subdue him. I would have gone to love him there. Babylon Boops, y'all remember, y'all must listen to the song. Yeah, they're good. Oh, you end up killing the station behind the counter and all them type of thing. How did that? Whatever policing we get going on, his place, if he went there to make a report, was behind the counter. But they slacked this all around. Somebody saying that CC computer no longer displayed. I don't know. Y'all hearing me? Just give me an indication y'all hearing me, because something what has happened, y'all system ain't working and y'all is blame us, right? Yeah. Man walking, he should not have been allowed to go beyond the public place is in front of the counter. In front of the counter. But for this man to walk till behind there and you get cameras saying taking out the police and all them type of thing. Look, let me tell you, that is the I pass that we're talking about. That is the RAS pass that we're talking about. That is what is being encouraged. And I'm disappointed in the actions of the police. And then it is reported that he apologized. Yes, the thing carried big on the thing. Oh, he apologized. I said the court, when he was charged with disorderly behavior in a police station and maybe assaulting peace officer and all of that, let him go to the magistrate and tell the magistrate of his contrition. Let him go to the court. Then too late to be charged. And then again, we understand that he there down there and he called somebody and put some phone to the police. Let me tell you, policemen, this. Let me tell you all this. At no time, you should take any phone from anybody because they said somebody want to talk to you. Don't encourage that nonsense. So if Cordell Jones tell you, talk to this body on the phone, tell him where to get off. You have no obligation to tell if the deputy commissioner call the deputy commissioner or he calls some minister or he call the commissioner, say, put the passing phone to you, say, talk to this body. Nonsense. Refuse. If they want to communicate with you, they must communicate with you directly, not calling somebody who may be in custody and then they pass the phone, or the person who is in custody pass the phone to them and they're talking to you. And then I understand the allegation is that the deputy commissioner tell them, lose the effing man. That is what the allegation is. Meaning they must release Cornell Jones. I am sure, let me tell you this, I'm not a betting man, but I'm sure to wager a small bet that if you were to check the books at that police station there, they got no record of that incident. They got no record. That's the type of policing you get going on. There's no record there. So there's another neglect. And in case you all know the section 4E1 of the Police Discipline Act, Chapter 1701. Neglect the duty. If there are no records of the incident at the station, somebody must be charged for neglect. Yeah, he said that he attached the PVP, just got to the Thursday cuss out and ask some softball question, the thing. These people ice past police, you know. These people ice past the police. And it's you police are encouraging that nonsense. Because Cornell Jones should have been in the lockups. And the only way he should have come out in the lockups is to go and seek medical attention. In the police station, the man coming to behave like that. And you telling me that he apologized and the apology is accepted? No. Because I'm saying if it was anybody else who is not associated with a PPP, the whole book would have been thrown at them. The whole book. Look what they do with Daggy. Me representing Daggy. Daggy met himself a fool, even though the virtual complainant said they don't want no other action and so on. They charge Daggy for even possession of a firearm when they never recover any firearm. They never recovered a firearm, but they charge Daggy for unlawful possession of a firearm, knowing full well that you can't prove no case. You can't get no conviction for unlawful possession of a firearm when you never recovered a firearm. Which court can convict you? But they make the mistake there is that he aligned to some other political party. But the likes of Cornell Jones, who can align himself with the PPP, can do no wrong. Amir Ahmad, who applies himself and is a financier, allegedly, can do no wrong. And the police sit down there and they allow that. You get an opportunity Friday coming. Friday coming, when you go to vote, you get an opportunity to correct all that shit. Right? I pass. People, I pass, y'all. People, I pass. And let me tell you, people who know me know that under my command, dying up, man, to either me personally or to nobody working with me, they're putting up with that crap. Then putting up with that. Then they're going to see the real beast on me come out. The real beast. And to the likes of Colonel Jones, take guys and pass the police and so on. Look, I'm not afraid of y'all, you know. Y'all could say y'all coming for me. I am not afraid of y'all. Let me understand this thing clearly. I'm not afraid. And them can only behave. And you know the thing about them, let me tell you. I like E. And them, they think you put them up in a dark alleyway and so on and run and ride. But they come with the camera and the thing and he's a journalist. What journalist? What journalist? Even when they had the court matter there with the Mohammeds, you wanted to ask a question, say the journalist, man, that's chasing you know, real journalist. You know real journalist. Maybe a journalist from Germany, that's it. I don't know. But I'm saying this before I move on. You, the ranks in the force, you have got to carry yourself in a certain way. And you have got to, and you know, respect is earned, you know. You can't demand respect from people. It's how you carry yourself, how you conduct yourself. That is how people will respect you. That is how people respect you. I ask the question again. If the sergeant on duty and his civilian clothes, and he did, you're encouraging nonsense. Why was this man allowed to go behind the counter to the Indy police station? Y'all encourage that crap. And it must stop. And if it continues because of you feel intimidated and thing and all this, make your ex count on Friday. Make your ex count on Friday. When the joint services go to the polls, make your objection count by voting these jagabats out of office. I say it, and I'm going to say it repeatedly. Now coming to the other issue. Tell you all how PPP desperate. How PPP desperate. They're continuing with this call, you know. You had the registration, you have to register to get this $100,000 cash grant. So during the process of the registration, they took your name, they took your address, they took your phone number. That is the government giving this cash grant, you know. So this information should have resided with the government. Now the PPP get the information. Isn't that illegal? I want these legal minds to tell me, isn't that illegal? That the PPP has control now, a political party has control of the government information database where people registered for the cash grant. And they're using the information now to call people. There are people on this call who told me, they call them, did you receive a cash grant? Yes. And they're telling you, or asking you, who you going to vote? You know, we give you a cash grant. Time you show your appreciation by voting for us. And that's the type of crap that's going on. How can that be legal? That the government database, there's not a PPP database, even though the lines are blurred between the PPP and the government. The lines are blurred because you get Jack Dio sitting at Freedom House, the headquarters of the PPP, and giving press conference talking about government policies and government issues. So the lines are blurred. But how can the political party PPP be in possession of the government database for the cash grant and using that as a campaign tool? How can that be right? And you have observers and all this. I hope that these people complain to the observers, because you have a lot of people who are going to be willing to give statements to confirm that this is going on. This is not just an allegation. And they took it to another level now. Over the weekend, I understand it has been taken to another level, in that they're calling people to find out if they get ration and so on. If they want a little rice, if they want a little sugar, right? And then they're telling them where to go to get little rice and sugar. And of course, the places where they have to go are supermarkets and businesses aligned to them, aligned to the PPP. So when they call you and say, you want a little cooking oil, you want a little sugar, you want a little flour and thing, and if you say yes, go to this place, go to that place, they're supporters. They're sending them to forget little cooking oil and little thing. But I say, you know, people are, and it's an indication of how impoverished people are. People are desperate. People are punishing. So when they can't, and they cause people to be punishing, and then they are using that now as a campaign tool. Go get a little rice from John Bull supermarket. Go get a little sugar from John Bull supermarket. And people they got to understand. Go and take a little rice and a little sugar. Because it's you money can pay for it. Don't believe it's any gift. It's taxpayers' money will pay their supporters. And chances are the supporters will funnel part of that money back to them for campaign. You understand what I'm saying? Take the money. When the time comes to vote, make sure that you vote them out so that you don't have to depend on a little handout coming down the road. But I say the same thing. And you call me, you're calling everybody. Why you discriminated against me? Call me. I registered and I got me 100,000 cash grant. Call me to find out them nonsense. Let me tell you how your mother make you. Let the real beast in me, the countryman. Let the BJ in me. Tanti Moore, let the Tanti Moore in me come out. Call me. Let the Tanti Moore come out. Let me tell y'all about y'all so and so and so and so. I know how to use the vernacular, you know. Call me. Let me tell you what I got to tell you. Call. Let me bring in CC and then we going to move on. CC, you're still doing this nonsense. Again, I ask the question. Is it not illegal for a government database to find itself in the hands of the political party?
It got to be, you know, it got to be, but you see, they are so desperate. They talk about landslide. They talk about 2/3. And then they talk about gridlock where nobody will have the majority. So they're using all kind of methods. All kind of methods. I say, if they're telling you about go and collect a ration, I think collect your ration. But you know, when you go to the polling place, you know where you put in your X. They're desperate. And they use all kind of desperate measures to see to come back in office, but they ain't coming back. They ain't coming back. So people got to know when they're going, how they're gonna vote, and it's time that we get rid of them. It's time that we get rid of them. Huh? Imagine using the database and calling people. Let they call me too. If they call me, I will talk to them in language that they understand. Some nice flowery language that they understand. So let it call. Good.
Yes, Chilo. Chilo, when they call me, they 30 more in me coming out. 30 more. I ain't got to wear no red bloomers or anything, but the 30 more in me gonna come out. Once they call me and ask me that crap, he gonna come out in me. Right? They gonna come out in me. Because me's a countryman. And me know the vernacular, me know the language. Right? Call me and ask me who I'm going to vote for. Of course, I can tell you all who are voting for. I'll tell you all who I am not voting for. That is a corrupt cabal called the PPP. I'm going to tell them that. And then I'm going to tell them how their mother make them. Right? Yeah, Winston, you did express concern about them harvesting that database of people's personal information to do all sort of things. That's what they did. These people are downright bloody criminals. To use the government database. First of all, how they get hands on the government database. The lines are blurred. The lines are blurred. So government and PVP are all in one. That's what happening. So they're taking the government database and they using that to campaign. Call me, man. Call me. Call me. Let me tell y'all, that phone gonna drop out your land. That phone gonna drop out your land. Right? Folks, September 1 coming up. August the 22nd for joint services. You get an opportunity to correct all this nonsense. Get rid of these corrupt people. I'm saying it openly now. No subtlety. Get rid of the corrupt PPP. Get rid. And I'm going to remind you all, remember what GHK last said about them. You're another government, a bunch of criminals. That is what you have. And you know, Winston, you can relate to this. Last night, I understand, the president making big promises if they return to office, old age pension can go up to to 60,000 from 41, and then they're gonna get grant to school children for $200,000. And I see the WILAG, the federal blast minister of education, coming out and praising and praising. The same thing, I remember I saw a post which remind me, Jack Dio said we can't give 200,000 per adult. When we were talking about the cash grant some time ago, remember it was broached by Professor Thomas and them, we can't give $200 for cash grant. That's what they said. That's impractical. Jack Dio is quoted to say that we can't give $200,000 cash grant. That is impractical. But now they can afford, he said that we can't afford that. But now at election time, they can say they're giving $200,000 to children, 100,000 per adult, 100,000 for newborn, all cash grant that I dismissed and called foolish when AFC and others proposed it. When AFC and others proposed it, it was foolish. But now, election time, they're in the buying mode. They're in the buying mode. That is what they're doing. And then, of course, somebody say the manifesto is out. So I guess they can add all of this now to the list. Visionless people. The only vision the president has had is the night of the 29th of July when he said he had a vision. And the next day he addressed police and they promote over almost 3,000 police. That's the vision. That is a nightmare. That is not a vision. You don't know the difference between a vision and a nightmare. That is Jumbie you see there. Adriana Young, haunting you people for our murder, haunting you guys for our murder. There's an issue that I want to deal with today. Issue that I want to deal with. According to the police now, I know policing good. Now, you know, they talk about all them promotion and they're promoting people left, right, and center. People left the work. They promote a man on the 4th of August, dismissing on the 8th of August, retroactive from the 4th of May, all them crap going on and so on. Incidentally, I understand that the rank who they have under close arrest at New Amsterdam for attempting to smuggle a firearm into the New Amsterdam prison is one of the recently promoted ranks. They're saying that the robbery over the weekend at the casino is a recently promoted rank. Hey, what they do? They're buying board, they also do that thing about. Do you know? It is said that people who were recruited, policemen who were recruited since December last year, up to now, they can't get on the payroll. They can't get them on the payroll. Do you know that? Police ranks, and they're coming to tell you that they care so much for you, right? They're running, they tell they care so much for you. The police ranks, let me repeat that, and they can come and debunk it, who were recruited in December last year have been finished the training pass out. They end up on the payroll yet, so every month they also get advance to them. And people who were promoted in February this year, many of them have not benefited financially from the promotion they get. So now for you who they come and they hoodwink and they can in this recent promotion, hold on. You got old wood. Hold on. It's just gimmicks to get promotion. And here, let me tell you all this one. I want to tell you all this one. Right? I want today done without I telling y'all. Y'all go and vote on Friday, police. And I want y'all to remember this. In this new dispensation now, they're talking about, they got a cabinet paper, which I have seen. Part of the paper, they're talking about criteria for promotions, which I say is outside of that. Let me understand this thing clearly. The Constitution of Guyana says that promotions to the rank from Lance Corporal to Sergeant is the Commissioner of Police. From Inspector to Assistant Commissioner is the Police Service Commission. President can promote Commissioner and Deputy Commissioner. He has to go through a constitutional process. So if it is that the Constitution says that the Commissioner of Police is responsible for promoting from Lance Corporal to Sergeant, and the Police Service Commission from Inspector to Assistant Commissioner, how can the Cabinet issue guidelines for promotion when Article 226 of the Constitution spells out clearly that no commission can be directed by any organization, any institution, anybody, including Cabinet? How can that be? But you know, again, they also say buy. But you know, we just analyze things. And they're talking about education. They say, oh, they're gonna give you a gold scholarship. They're gonna give you all sort of thing, all sort of thing they're gonna give you. This government was always anti-education in the police force. Let me repeat that. The PPP government was always against people going and get proper education. They were always. I remember when Larry Lewis came, Larry Lewis revolutionized the force in that respect. He used to encourage people to go to university and so on in them days when it was free. And then they came in 1992, they took away that. They took it away. Do you know? And I talk from personal experience, and this is about me, but I'm relating this to you guys. Some years back, around 2007, thereabout, I was still in the force. I saw an advertisement for persons to apply for a scholarship. I think it was the British government scholarship to do a course they call Tackling International Organized Crime. I saw it. Tackling International Organized Crime. The requirements, you have to get a first degree, you have to get so much years of experience. I qualified. So I applied. Clement Roy was the Minister of Home Affairs. Right? It would have been, I think, Green was the Commissioner of Police then. I applied and I was successful. Successfully, people call me, I get me interview and so on. The British, good. Successful, you win the scholarship. Now, this course had to be undergone in Europe. So I had to then get, some of you might know about it, the Schengen visa. Now, the Schengen visa is a visa that allows you to go to any one of the countries in Europe. I think it's Western Europe. So you go to France, Germany, England, they want visa. At that time, you have to get the visa in the Netherlands or somewhere there. You have to apply through John Fernandez in Water Street. I went through all of that. They took my passport, paid whatever fee, made the application, sent for my Schengen visa. And I remember well, because while my passport had gone to get a visa, I had to do some emergency traveling within the Caribbean. I had to go and get a travel document to travel on the thing. Because the visa didn't come back. Visa come back, the passport came back, I get the visa. The government of Guyana refused to allow me to go on the scholarship. Fully paid, by the British. Fully paid. The government of Guyana refused. Clement Roy was the Minister of Home Affairs. Sometime after, I was invited to the Queen's birthday function at the British High Commissioner's residence in Bel Air there. And turn up and so on. Roy was there too as a guest. And I was talking with the Deputy British High Commissioner. And then Roy thing, and then the issue came up. I think the Deputy British High Commissioner raised the issue. I was disappointed that I wasn't given the time. Roy, sir. Roy told him that, well, look, the government is not comfortable with them selecting people to go on program. The man said, I'll tell you, man, embarrassing. Well, there's if it could be embarrassed. The Deputy High Commissioner told him that is not how the process works. This was an open invitation for persons to apply. Mr. Slow applied, Mr. Slow won the scholarship. So it's not that we go and just pick up Slow and put Slow there. They denied. So they're talking now about education. Fast forward, or around the same time, let me tell you all this. Y'all know Deputy Commissioner Simon McBean? I'm going to come up with this again, make enough time to go through Simon McBean matter. Simon McBean was a young, bright superintendent of police back in 2008, 2007, sometime then. Got the coveted Chevening Award. Up to 2 weeks ago, I saw, I think 5 or 6 Guyanese won this award. One of the most prestigious awards offered by the British government. He got it to go and study in the UK. Let me get the thing. Hold on, man. Hold on. And let me for those of you, make a note. Stabrook News of September the 29th, 2009. You can read the whole thing there. September the 29th, 2009. Right? All right, I'm reading a comment here. Right. Mr. I understand what you're saying, but because I had to go to the course, part of the course was being done in France or so on in these places. So you had to get this Shenzhen visa as part of the arrangement because part of the training was done in the UK and part you have to go across to France or somewhere. So you had to get this visa, this Shenzhen visa, right? Now, I'm directing you all to Stabrook News, September the 29th, 2009. And the headline is Ambitious, Industrious, and Unemployed. Ambitious, industrious, and unemployed. That was McBean, right? That was McBean. He applied for and he got this, he won this scholarship to go and study in the United Kingdom.